Bore da, croeso i chi yma heddiw I lawnsiad yr ymgyrch. Thank you very much for turning up for the launch of this campaign. This is a Wales launch. The campaign here will be as part of our effort and initiative to make drink driving unacceptable across Wales. Last year, nearly 600 people were arrested across Wales over the winter period for driving under the influence of drink or drugs. By now, everybody knows that getting behind the wheel of a vehicle under the influence is dangerous and is breaking the law. This year, the All Wales campaign aims to make the community of Wales think about the wider implications of driving whilst under the influence and those implications that can have on family and loved ones. The campaign will show the true impact of drink and drug driving with a simple message: Christmas will never be the same again. One person who knows this more than anyone else is Angela Cohen, a brave woman whose son sadly lost his life in a fatal road traffic accident last year. Supported by our family liaison officer PC Nason-Goth, Angela is going to do us the honour of telling us her story and the story of Aran. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
We were laughing and joking on Saturday afternoon. So, Saturday evening, he and a friend of his came back to the house to get ready to go out into town. And I remember watching the X Factor finals last year, and I was shouting at him to turn the music down because we were both laughing and giggling upstairs. And 10 to 11 in the night, I dropped him into town, and within an hour, Aaron had phoned me and asked me to come and pick him up from town. Seemed completely sober and coherent. So then when we were just driving home, he just said to me, "Mum," he said, "can you drop me my cousin George, who he was very friendly with?" And he said he wasn't going to come home that night because he was going to go and see a friend, but he was going to get a taxi. And I actually put the money in his bank account to get a taxi, not knowing that he was putting petrol in the car. So I didn't expect him home that night. So the following morning, I had my grandson and my granddaughter there. We were making Christmas cards. And I seen Nathan pulling up outside the house. And he came to bring me the news that Aaron had been killed. To this day, I still can't believe he's gone. He'd never been in trouble before, and yet he made that one mistake. And it's just, we're never going to be the same again. I feel lost. We all feel as if part of us have died with him. And I just don't know how to come to terms with losing my own son. But the combination of the alcohol, and he made that decision to get in that car, the combination of the alcohol, possibly ice on the roads, and just losing control on the bend. We feel that he lost control on a bend, overcorrected his steering, and then ultimately hitting the tree. There should be no drinking and driving, and that should be made law. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity to lead this campaign and hopefully reach out to thousands, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, cousins, just to be more aware of how much they drink. My son went out that night and he only was actually equivalent to 2.25 pints of beer. And through various combinations, obviously alcohol, possibly icy roads, a dumbbell he was carrying in the back of his car, which was insecure. And when he hit the tree, the dumbbell followed and hit him at the back of his head, fracturing his skull, which ultimately killed him. So it was a few combinations that took his life. But ultimately, my son made that decision to get in that car, knowing he had been drinking. But obviously was unaware that he was over the limit. And I was the last person to see my son, apart from somebody who had served him in a garage. And he looked and acted completely sober. Because believe me, if I thought for 1 minute he was going to get in that car, Martin was with me on the night we picked him up. I would have had Martin to drag him out of that car, knock him out, and have tied him to something in his bedroom rather than let him go. The effects it's had on his family afterwards have been totally devastating. Myself, I've lost over 5 stone in weight. I've had 2 nervous breakdowns. I've been headbutting walls and on my knees praying to die. To live with the grief is horrendous. His sister has lost 5 stone. His brother has lost 3 stone. And our lives will never ever be the same again without him. He was a fantastic boy. He was doing 5 A-levels in law, funny enough. Then decided he wanted to do engineering. Done almost 3 years in engineering. And then decided he wanted to be a model. And went on to do London Fashion Week. And then he decided to do personal training. And he absolutely loved it. He had everything in this world to live for. He qualified on the Friday as a personal trainer. He had never been so happy in his life. And he died on the Saturday. All for the sake of what was equivalent to half a lager. He is a very, very well respected man and a very, very well loved man. And one of the things that Aaron always wanted to do was design clothing. So we have actually gone through his artwork and found initials he had scribbled when he was about 15. And I am now in the process of using those initials to go forward and make Aaron's dreams a reality and manufacture casual and fitness clothing in his honour. I cannot put into words how devastating the grief and what effect it's had on our lives since the day Nathan pulled up. Many a times I have wanted to jump off a bridge and just end it all. And had I had not had the support of my wonderful family and friends and hundreds of people who absolutely adored Aaron from the length and breadth of the country. This was not a boy that used to go out and get smashed out of his brains, so to speak, or took drugs, or got into any trouble of any sort. This was a very well-educated boy, a very well-loved and very well-respected boy. but sadly made one mistake that cost him his life. My daughter wrote me a poem last night, and I would just like to read it out to you, just to finish my speech off, if I may.
Yes.
We've called it the empty chair. The presents are wrapped and under the tree. The lights are twinkling, the children dance with glee. The mince pie has been eaten, there's snow on the ground. It's Christmas morning all around. This day is for laughing, sharing and bliss. But for us now, forevermore, something's amiss. I look at your chair where you would be sat talking, and I imagine you there unwrapping your stocking. I sit for a moment, in your direction I stare. I become withdrawn, trying to hide my despair. The question I've asked myself, time after time, why have you left us? There's no reason or rhyme. I thought we'd have Christmases aplenty, but we have been left devastated, and your chair is now empty. I know I must live on, remembering you and remaining strong. And yes, it is very, very scary. But for you, my darling son, I will try and say merry. I know one day I will see you again. Until then, my everlasting love will remain.
I wouldn't want to exchange places with Angela. None of us would. And we really do feel for you. It's an extremely brave thing to come up here and stand here and share something so personal, a tragedy, a son losing that in your life, and share that with us, and to try and get across this message of not drinking or taking drugs and then driving. Thank you, Angela. We really appreciate your support today. As we all know, the festive season is traditionally a time when people enjoy themselves. But unfortunately, as we've already heard, too many drivers are still prepared to take the risk under the influence of drink and drugs. No one should be in any doubt that any alcohol, in any amount, it will have a detrimental effect on our driving ability. Drivers must understand that the risk of being involved in a collision increases rapidly with the amount of alcohol consumed. Many motorists believe that they're safe to drive even if they think they're just below the current legal limit. They're wrong. Even one drink will have an effect on our judgment and our ability to drive safely. They may not be able to judge speed and distance accurately. Their ability to react may be severely affected, which will increase their stopping distances. Their judgment of risk may be affected, and they may have a tendency to be overconfident and put themselves in danger. Every year, across Wales and the UK, impaired driving causes unnecessary deaths and casualties that could easily be prevented. It only takes a little forward planning to avoid the consequences of being caught drinking and driving. Book a taxi to get you and your friends home. Arrange for someone to pick you up, but ensure that they've not been drinking too. Don't offer an alcoholic drink to someone who's agreed to drive, and don't accept a lift from somebody who's already been drinking. Use public transport, or perhaps you have a friend who doesn't drink who will be willing to be the driver for the night. Our message to everyone is, if you're having a night out over the festive period and you're going to drink, then don't drive. The message is simple. If you're going to drive, then don't drink. The effects of alcohol are long-lasting and stay in our system for longer than most people realise. With alcoholic drinks becoming stronger and being served in increasingly larger measures, it's impossible for us to judge how many units we've consumed. It's very easy to still be over the drink-drive limit the following morning after a night out, as many drivers in their past have found to their cost. And tragically, in some cases, this has also been to the cost of others. We often think of a drink driver as a very drunk person, someone who's drunk so much alcohol he can hardly stand. That isn't always the case. Actually, a drink driver is anyone who's over the legal limit, no matter how little or how careful they think they are. A drink driver is often someone who thinks they'll be fine with just one more drink. It's impossible to gauge how much is too much. You won't know if you're over the limit, and by guessing, you're gambling with your licence, your life, and the lives of other people. Assistant Chief Constable Vaughan has already told us the legal implications of drinking and driving, or taking drugs and driving. But there are many other consequences of choosing to get behind the wheel whilst impaired, not only for the driver, but for their immediate family, their employer, friends, and unfortunately, sometimes for people we don't even know. Often it is the innocent that suffer. Road Safety Wales, a partnership of professionals from across Wales, hopes that everyone will work with the police to make our roads safer over this festive period and the new year, to ensure it's a time of celebration and not one of tragedy. Thank you. I'm going to move on now to the multimedia competition. What I want to show you now and demonstrate for this next part is, and I hope this is going to be really positive for Angela Martin, is to show you how young people have been working with us and the partners in Wales on putting together ideas about how we could get that message of anti-drink and drug drive messages. And you can see the hard work that they've culminated in this competition, and we'll be showing that now in a while. The All Wales Multimedia Competition was launched with a challenge to schools, colleges and youth groups to devise, perform and record a multimedia presentation with an anti-drink or drug drive message in time for this All Wales campaign. The age groups involved were all aged from 11 to 25, and participants were encouraged to use a variety of genre: film, music, PowerPoint, poetry, animation. The choice was theirs. Unusually this year, all our winners are animations. So could I ask all the prize winners, once they've been up, to stay behind at the end of the event so that we can take photographs. We'll now be viewing the winning entries and present the contributors with their well-deserved prizes. First up is Sharon Buckley of Pembrokeshire College. Shannon Buckley. Shannon has called upon her artistic talent to remind everyone it's not just a question of not driving after a night out, and it's still possible to be over the drink-drive limit the morning after, with consequences for the driver, their family, people around them. Please, we'll show our display. Can I ask you to come up and receive your prize, please? No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Sit down.
Yeah, thank you. Well done. Next up is April Bryant of Pontypool College of Torfaen. This atmospheric stop-motion animation was influenced by the 1975 Soviet-Russian animated film The Hedgehog in the Fog. April has utilised subtle imagery and audio to evoke the impact and consequences of this serious subject matter. The subjects of the film are a metaphor for the potential consequences of driving under the influence of drink and drugs. Well done. Thank you, April. Our next winner is Joel Langston of Pembrokeshire College. Joel was a student at the college, has used retro-style gaming animation in this inventive entry which compares life to a video game. Highlighting the danger of taking drugs and alcohol and getting behind the wheel, Joel has incorporated the very important message that actions have on real-life consequences. Let's take a look at Joel's film, Game Over. Well done, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Joel, would you like to come up and have your prize? Well done, Joel. Well done, everybody. In addition to this year's multimedia competition, Road Safety Wales ran an anti-drink and drug drive poster competition. We're very grateful to all the young artists who contributed with their entries. 4 outstanding posters were selected by the judges, and the winning artists are here today to receive their prizes. Firstly, please welcome Hannah Powell of Tredegar Comprehensive School in Blaenau Gwent. Well done, Hannah. Next is Imogen Williams of Coed Kite School in Carmarthenshire. Please join us to receive your prize. Well done, Imogen. And from West Monmouth School in Torfaen, please welcome Molly Jones. Finally, the poster chosen for use by road safety partners across Wales has been designed by Megan White of Bedwas High School in Caerphilly. Megan, please join us to receive your prize. Are you collecting on behalf of them? Thank you. Thank you very much. Road Safety Wales is very grateful to all of those who have made this year's competitions a great success, to the artists and filmmakers and to the local authority road safety officers and other partners who promoted the competition throughout Wales. A great deal of thought goes into making of these entries, and I'm sure the young people involved learn about the consequences of driving under the influence when they're exploring their ideas, researching the topic and creating their excellent films and posters. Road Safety Wales feels that all the hard work and ingenuity deserves a much wider audience, so each film will be uploaded to YouTube on a rolling programme up to Christmas. The films will then be talked about on Facebook and Twitter, which will lead to more people seeing these excellent messages. The films will also be circulated to organisations such as TISPOL and Road Safety GB, giving us access to Europe and road safety professionals throughout the UK. I'm sure you'd like to join me in showing your appreciation to all the winners today, of all the schools, colleges, organisations, staff and young people from across Wales who took the time and effort to consider this vitally important message to create such effective messages.